Okay, this is the slab method. We're gonna start by just pushing down on clay, and basically our goal is to just make flat pieces of clay. Those are slabs, and we're going to use them like walls. So it's basically just building with walls of clay. That's all it is. You're building pieces with walls of clay. I use this method to make my slab, so I flatten it out a little bit. I put rails here, and then I use my roller to roll it out. Once you reach the point where you can easily roll back and forth without resistance, then you know you're good. So what this does is keeps your slab completely the same, consistent across all of the whole piece. So it's nice and has an even thickness all the way across. Okay, so that's what you want. Don't go too thin. All right, now I'm going to decide on what my base will be for my piece. Let's just say a triangle, for example. Keep it simple, okay? So I would just take my cutting tool and I would cut right into the slab. And I would make a triangle, for example. And I would just tear away what I don't need, right? This would then become the base. Then my goal would be to use my slab and to cut out walls that fit here. So I'd cut a long piece and I would fit it right here. And I would keep doing that all the way around until I have a form of a triangle. And I'm going to show you what that looks like, okay? So if this were my base, this would be a wall that fits here, this would be a wall that fits here, and this would be a wall that fits here, okay? Now, this is really important. The way that you put them together is very, very important. So it's called scoring and welding. You can't just put them together like this. It might look like they're together once you smush it a little bit, but it will fall apart, okay? So anytime you're putting two pieces of clay together, you have to use a technique called scoring and welding. Scoring just means you're scratching it up, and welding means you're adding water and you're applying pressure, okay? So I'm gonna take this edge, because I'm gonna be touching it with this edge. So this edge and this edge have to be scored, okay? So I'm gonna be scoring into it like that, just putting little cut lines in it. And now this edge, because this goes here, so this little edge right here has to be scored. So score, score, score. Now add a little bit of water. I'm just gonna dab it, pat it or dab it. Don't push because you'll ruin your scores. And then I push them together, okay? You see how you have a seal right there? Okay, if you have like a gap right there, you can put a tiny bit of clay and water right in that little crack and then smooth it out, okay? That's something that will come later. And then this one will go here, right? So if this is gonna join with this, then I know that this edge right here has to be scored. And you'll use your toothpick for that. And then again, this edge is gonna be joining with that, so I score it. This edge will also be joining with this edge, right? So that means I should put a little bit here. Now I add water, dab, dab, and I push them together, okay? And then I do the same thing over here. So this one will go right here. I score it. Oh, sorry, whoops. I score this edge, my bad. And I scored this edge, right? And I also scored this edge, okay? And then this edge, because that's gonna be touching that, and this edge, which will be touching that. And this edge on the bottom. I dab a little bit of water here, just a little bit. Don't rub it, just dab. And I smush them together. Now, you'll notice that I have cracks here, right? Because it's a triangle. So you can take this and kind of like push it together with your fingertips. That's an option for sure. And then you would just use your sponge to smooth things out. You can also use your finger, but you always want to use water and either your finger or your sponge to start to smooth things out and to seal them. The whole point is to seal it and also to make it look nicer. This is a really big area that has to be filled. So I would take a little bit of clay like this. And like I said, I would make a snake, right? A little snake, put it actually in the water, roll it around in the water, and then put it in that crack. Okay, and we would use that to fill that crack in. Okay, again, our friend is the sponge to smooth everything out. And again, this is just to understand the whole process, okay? That's it, okay? So this would be the basic, these are the basic skills for slab method. Now, if you wanted to use like a circle as your base, you would do the same thing, and I would just cut a slab like this, and I would just wrap it all the way around. Okay, of course you would score all the way around first and all the way on this edge here, like so, right? So you would just score, 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 and score, 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 etc. And then you would add a little water all around, and you would wrap it. So that's what a circle, or something with curved, would look like. Okay, this is also an example of a square slab method. Okay.